Hello, yes, and welcome to a episode of MLS Ireland. Well, I'll be bringing to you my predictions for this week's MLS. Yes, it's a long story. Stay tuned. Perfect. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, I cut my hand quite badly at work today, which is fun. Kind of got to get out of work for a couple of minutes before I had to patch it all up. But anyway, those things happen, I think. Only to me. But anyway, as I said, this is my predictions. If you're new to this, hit that subscribe button. Would mean a lot to me. Hit the like, share. You can comment on what you think, what the scores will be in these games coming up, because there's quite a lot, so I'll try not to dilly-dally as I usually do, because I always try to say these are going to be quite quick, and they never are. So may as well get into the first one. New England against Montreal. Surprisingly, Montreal actually didn't do too bad. They're coming up against a New England team who haven't actually won at home, which is quite surprising with all the games that they played. Saying that, Montreal are probably they're in a better shape in the league, whereas they're like 12th, 11th, sorry, and whereas New England are 17th. So you would think Montreal are the better team in this. They probably are when you think about things, but I think New England are at home. They should actually get a good result in this one, but I do think it's probably going to be like a 1-1 draw. Like at home, their games have never really been over that many goals, so I think they're really going to be a bit compact in this one and actually end up with a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go for that one. Atlanta against FC Dallas. FC Dallas actually have a very good chance here at actually winning. They're 7th in the league. They're not doing too bad. They're coming up against a team who are awful, if that makes any sense. Atlanta, who are just getting beat left, right and centre. They're 23rd in the league, and DC United, they're like Inter Miami's above them. Who would have thought that? Inter Miami actually beat them, which was a complete craziness. So saying that, against FC Dallas, who aren't doing too badly, they won the last 3 games, so congratulations to them. Saying that, I do think FC Dallas will get a good result in this one, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to FC Dallas. So ho. And then New York City against Toronto. New York City, they're had a weird start of the season. They're starting now to click, even though that they didn't really score a goal in their last game, which was an interesting one. They're not scoring many goals, but they aren't conceding many. Now they're coming up against the Toronto team, who are scoring plenty of goals. They're like 4th in the whole thing. They are scoring a hell of a lot more goals. Saying that, will they score more goals against New York City? They aren't playing at home, so saying that, I think New York City are probably the better team in this one. New York City, Toronto, are very weird in games, and they may just mess this one up. Saying that, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. This one game could be 0-0 all over it, but I think the two teams are kind of well matched, and that's what I think anyway. And the next one is Chicago against Houston Dynamo, who just basically sold their best player. Coming up against Chicago Fire, who are bottom of the league. I said that last time Chicago won, or drew, against Columbus Crew, which is a crazy game, and now they're coming up against Houston, who are like 16th. So don't be surprised if Chicago Fire actually may now win this one. Houston Dynamo's attack, their secret attack, basically their tactics, is completely now out of the game. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 for them. I don't even think I need a reason other than I think, which is gold. The next one is Columbus Crew against Minnesota. Columbus Crew, who are top, against Minnesota, who are 8th. Minnesota drew their last game and then lost their game before that, whereas Columbus Crew won their last game, drew. So I think Columbus Crew are probably the better team going into this game. They are scoring a lot more goals away at home, and they're coming up against a team who are probably conceding not that many away from home. So saying that, it is going to be a good one. Minnesota, the last They played the last 2 games and they drew and they lost 1-0, so this game's going to be a bit of a tricky one for them. So I'm going to go for a Columbus Crew 2-1 win. I do think Minnesota are capable of scoring. Am I expecting Columbus Crew to really concede? Probably, when Minnesota aren't a bad team. The next one is Cincinnati against Philadelphia. Did they not just play? No, they did not. Anyway, Philadelphia beat Montreal the last time, so that wasn't too bad of a game. Cincinnati aren't actually that high up in this. They actually beat New York Red Bull, which was a complete surprise. They beat them again. I think New York Red Bull doesn't like playing against them. So Cincinnati aren't doing too bad. They won their last game, but they haven't really won many since that. They're coming up against Philadelphia, who are probably, dare I say it now, with Nagby not playing that much, a better team. They're better than Toronto, they're better than Orlando. So I think they're still kind of the best. They're their most informed team at the moment. So congratulations to them. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Philadelphia. I think Cincinnati kind of are out of options at the moment when they already won a game. That's how MLS works, isn't it? Sporting Kansas City against Orlando. Orlando are third, which at the start of the season or start of the year you wouldn't have thought that. Well, granted, you wouldn't have thought of anything what's happening right now at the moment. It's like cutting my finger. Like, Christ. They're coming up against Sporting KC, who are actually not too bad. They lost their last game, which was quite a stupid game. I think I can remember. Yeah, against FC Dallas, they should have really should have won that game. Whereas Orlando beat Chicago Fire and beat Inter Miami into 2 games, so they're in a better shape in this one. Saying that, they are playing away against Sporting Kansas City. I'm going to go for a Sporting Kansas City win in this one, but I'm going to go for a 3-2. There's going to be a lot of goals in this game, so I'm going to go for a 3-2 win to Sporting Kansas City. Inter Miami against New York Red Bulls. This one's going to be on TV here as well. Quite a lot of them are going to be on TV. 4? Could be wrong, but anyway, Inter against New York Red Bulls. It is going to be a nice wee game to see. I do think Inter Miami, who are without Higuain, who is, as far as I'm aware, they're coming up against New York Red Bulls, who are strange at the moment. They're 18th in the league, which isn't really good for them, whereas Inter Miami are 22nd. Just says you a lot about MLS at the moment. So saying that, I'm going to go for a New York Red Bull win, but I'm going to suggest it's probably going to be with like 2-1 to New York Red. No, I'll go for a draw in this one. Actually, sorry about that. I'll go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. It's very hard to see New York Red Bulls scoring, but I do think they can score against Inter Miami's defense, which is still not great. So the next one is Nashville against DC United. I like Nashville at the moment. They aren't playing bad football. They're coming up against DC United, who are playing bad football. Nashville has this one, I think. I think it's going to be like a 1-0 defensive set play game. So they're going to probably score from a defensive. So Zimmerman, if anybody's put a wee bet on him to score, probably one for him. Because I don't think DC United are very good at, actually nobody's really good at set plays at the moment, but I think DC United are very are very just crap. Stop trying to use big words. I can't say them. The next one is Colorado against San Jose Earthquakes. So San Jose, which I was quite surprised they were second from bottom, to be actually in a better position at the moment, but they're not, and they're coming up against a Colorado Rapids team who are scoring, which isn't bad. They beat LA Galaxy, but then they got beat by FC Dallas quite badly. Then they stuffed Real Salt Lake, so they're scoring plenty of goals, and now they're coming up against a Sporting again, San Jose team. So again, this game is in Colorado, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Colorado. They probably have more momentum going into this game, so more confidence. That's what I suspect in that one. And the third from last is Real Salt Lake against LA Galaxy. Real Salt Lake. These two teams are actually not too far away from each other in the league. Whereas Galaxy, they're 14th, and then Real Salt Lake are 19th. LAFC are 15th. Wow. Shocked. That was a shock. Real Salt Lake, they won one game in the last 5, and that wasn't really a great game from what I remember. They beat LAFC, which was pretty good for them, 3-0, but then got stuffed in every other game. And Galaxy got beat by Colorado, and then got drew with San Jose, and won all their games, so they're probably kind of in a downward spiral at the moment. But coming over Real Salt Lake, I think they should win this one, so I'm going to go for probably a 2-0 win to Galaxy. They're looking better than they did last season, even though last season had a very good player, but they had that more togetherness, is the word I'm trying to say. Anyway, next one is Portland Timbers, who are strange at the moment. They won their last game against San Jose 6-1, then drew before that 1-1. So, MLS. And they're coming up against Seattle Sounders. Is another Cascadia Cup thing, who are doing not too bad. They won LAFC and then they beat San Jose 7-1, so San Jose are leaking in goals left, right and centre, but left and top everywhere. So Seattle are a very good team. I do think Seattle should probably win this game, but it is in Portland without their fans, so this is probably so I'm going to go for probably a 2-1 win to Seattle. They just look like a good team at the moment, and it's very hard to set them aside because they always seem to be doing very well at this stage in the season. And this last game is LAFC against Vancouver. God knows where this game's going to go. Where is Vancouver? Vancouver are 13th and LAFC are 15th. This is peak 2020, people. Peak 2020. LAFC should win this one, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. It's pretty straightforward. Sorry, Vancouver, you aren't playing too badly, but you're very inconsistent in your results, as is LAFC in fairness, but I think they have that better of players. Those are my predictions. That was a mouthful, and hopefully I didn't spend too much of your time. If you're new to this, as I said, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you on Friday, I think. God knows when the next one is, but I'll see you then. I'll try not to be late, and good luck. Bye now.